Hello, people. We are Tottenham TV, back here to react to your comments once again. I mean, I've literally not even seen a second of these comments, so very much looking forward to getting into them.
Ben's abandoning the comments.
Well, the ones you've picked, I haven't seen.
Ones I've picked,
yeah. I've seen comments come through. I read your comments, people, but I haven't seen the ones that you've picked here, so I'm excited to see which ones you've picked.
All right, first one is Hazem Belka. Says, we are fixating way too much on Frank. The quality of the squad offensively is really bad, and the performance, the data, and even a slight comparison with other teams confirms it. Who are we recruiting? Gallagher, Robertson, Richarlison, Solanke, Tell, Odebear, Kolo Muani are all bang average, not even close to top 6 standards, to be honest. We need to be looking for forwards in this window. Instead, we are looking for defensive players and crying about the coach.
I mean, like, first of all, the coach has had a massive impact in the way these guys are playing and how bereft of confidence they are, how we can barely create a chance at times. Look, there is a sentiment that I agree with in terms of a lot of these players don't get into teams in the top 6, which I completely agree with. However, we are borderline looking at a relegation battle right now, fast. We're not talking about top 6 here. We're talking about at least like just being respectable, just competing in games, you know, getting into the top half, never mind top 6. So where there might be some validity about some of the players that we're recruiting and some players that we have on our disposal can't get into the top 6 clubs, they are better than being in a borderline relegation battle.
If we were 7th or 8th or 9th right now, I think this comment would maybe be more understandable.
Yeah.
But we're 14th, with 3 points now off 17th. And we've just taken 1 point out of 18th and 19th place in the league in 2 consecutive games. So to suggest that the coach can't take any flack when that's the state of play, and you know we still have some very good players who are available to play. Yes, compared to the top 6, I agree we're lagging behind, but we've still got a lot of players there that the top 8, 9, 10, 11 would all love in their team. And we're sitting in 14th, and it could be a lot worse after tonight. Maybe we'll see, and going forward. So I think the coach has to take a lot of the flack, and the football we're playing is dreadful. And by the way, the stats suggest, by the way, we're actually doing a lot with what we're creating in terms of we're creating so little, and we're massively outperforming the amount of chances we're creating. Would suggest if we would create more chances, we would score a lot more goals. So actually, the data doesn't line up with the fact that that our attackers are massively underperforming. It actually suggests that they're basically feeding off scraps and actually performing way above what's expected given the scraps they're feeding off. That's what, apart from maybe Muani, but that's what the data suggests.
Yeah, look, I think we have a lot of problems at this football club, from ownership to playing staff to manager. But I think the order of I don't know about the percentages, but the order of our problems, in my opinion, goes ownership, Frank, players. Players are at the bottom.
Yeah, agreed. I do day 7667 says, stop it, Sim. We deserve to win. If this was Ange, you'd be saying it was an amazing and we were unlucky. I don't disagree on points about Frank. In fact, I agree with Sim, but his hypocrisy after defending Ange the entire of last season, just so frustrating to listen to. The reality is our board and our recruitment is awful, and the manager, CEO and director of football all need to leave as they are all terrible.
Facts.
I think it's facts from the second sentence. I think when he says I agree with Sim, then it's facts. I think
the whole comment is facts. Big up to you.
We didn't deserve to win. I'm sorry. We should have won, but we didn't deserve the win, because when you take game state into account, we created a few chances, got the goal, and then stopped attacking. And we actually didn't start creating chances again pretty much until the end of the game when we were chasing it. So,
but even up to that point, we created more chances.
Not really.
We did.
When?
I mean, we had 11 shots in the first half.
Not more. What do you mean?
We created more chances up until they were winning than Burnley in the whole game.
Up until 1-0 Spurs we were.
No, up until 2-1.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Of course we did.
No.
What are you talking about?
Up until 1-0 we did. Then between 1-0 and 2-1 Burnley we didn't.
In the first half, we had like 7 or 8 shots on target.
Okay, I understand that. But you're not listening to what I'm saying. Up until 1-0 we did.
Yeah.
Once it went 1-0, between 1-0 and 2-1 Burnley, we didn't.
Yeah, but regardless,
That's my
from
point.
the
If
start...
you take the game state into
Okay, fine,
account...
but from the start of the game up until Burnley scored that second goal, that whole period of the game, we had created more chances than Burnley.
That's irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant.
It is irrelevant.
It's very relevant.
No, it's irrelevant. I'll tell you why. Because we created chances up until we scored 1-0. The most chances we created were from 2 corners, which one corner led to the other. So once it went 1-0 Tottenham, which it could have happened the corner before, and then all of a sudden we wouldn't have the chances that we scored from the second corner, right? It went 1-0 Spurs, then we stopped creating. And then we stopped creating. And in that period, Burnley were actually looking more likely to score after that moment. So it doesn't matter. If you're telling me we scored the first goal, and then we had like 3 or 4 chances to score a second and go 2-0 up, and we missed those, right? Then I'd agree with you, but we didn't. We scored the first goal, 1-0, which is, by the way, something that's happened multiple times this season. We score the first goal, we sit back and invite pressure, and all of a sudden we end up losing our advantage. And it happened again in this game, and we went 2-1 down, and only at that point, once we conceded 2 goals, did we force the issue and create a few more chances, and then we got that equaliser. But so, on the balance of the chances created, should we have won? Yes. Dubravka did have a very good game, but did we deserve the win? I don't think so. I'm sorry, we didn't. Of the balance of play, and when you take game state into account, we didn't deserve that win. That's just my opinion.
You can't just take out the chances that we created just because we scored on the second corner and not the first corner.
I'm not taking out. I'm just explaining why I feel like we didn't deserve the win.
I think as well, if this was Ange, you would have said we would have deserved the win.
Depends on the situation. If we played
a carbon copy game
yesterday,
because a lot of the times with Ange, like last season, a lot of games where we would be poor for a majority of the game, and in a cluster of a moment we would score like 2 goals, look good for 10 minutes, and then for the majority of it we would be poor. And yeah, in those games you probably said we would have deserved the game, and we would have conceded a few chances as well.
Depends on the game state. Maybe when we were ravaged by injuries at the back and we were able to muster up a performance, I would say something was worth defending. But again, when I'm defending Ange, it's to do with more the bigger picture rather than individual moments. I really believed in what Ange was trying to do, and I think it was a good thing for the football club. That's what we wanted long term, was someone who would play that kind of football. When it comes to Frank, even yesterday, on the weekend, I wasn't really impressed with what I saw from a footballing standpoint. Yeah, we created more chances than we have done in previous weeks, but still, in terms of what he's trying to implement at Tottenham, I just don't believe in it. That's the main thing. So for me, I understand that we need...
But I think because you don't believe, and I don't think anyone at this point believes what he's trying to do at Tottenham, but I think because that you specifically don't believe in what he's trying to do, you look at maybe things, situations in a more negative light than maybe what you would have done.
Because it's a more negative situation.
Yeah, but I'm talking like isolated situations, not the bigger picture here.
Mm-hmm.
You might look at them in more of a negative light.
Potentially.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, potentially.
And I think that's what this comment is trying to allude to.
In terms of the bigger picture, there might be some bias there. I'm not going to deny that, but that's because of the situation. That's because of what the two managers are trying to implement and what I want for long term for this football club. I understand this football club needed a big rebuild and a manager needs time and all that kind of stuff. Now, as a fan, but I have to have an opinion of who I'd rather give that time to. As I understand, they're going to go, whoever we get in charge, there's going to be some rough patches, and we're going to be something that they're going to have to get through some tough times until we get to a stage where we're a good, consistent team, right? I was willing to give that time to Ange. I'm not willing to give that time to Frank for the reasons I've laid out. That's my point. Running Guy says Van de Ven and Romero are doing 2 jobs every match, striker and defender. Yeah. That's also a thing when
I think they're mainly doing one game job every match, and that's mainly striker, because their defending leaves a lot to be desired sometimes.
Yeah, but it's a puzzling thing, isn't it? They're having to do a lot of defending because of how we play, and then they're the only ones who are able to put the ball in the back of the net, and they're the ones relying on to score goals as well. So it's I find it hard to criticise them too much when we're so reliant on them right now to do everything. It seems crazy.
Yeah, and
so when we're criticising, they did the defensive mishap here, they're defensively slipping up, but they're asked to do a lot, I feel.
They are asked to do a lot, but those mistakes that we were talking about in the Burnley game were really bad. Like really bad. Like Van der Ven gets completely turned inside out. You know, Jadon Anthony sold him down the river, didn't he? And Cuti Romero, that was just pure laziness from him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, look, they are being asked to do God's work, really.
David Tucker says, Sim, I'm normally always with you, but no chance would Emery be a popular appointment. And is it even a question between Poch and him? That's mad.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What, is Poch a better manager than Emery?
I think that Emery's obviously got a better CV than him.
Mm-hmm.
But look, at the end of the day, we've spoken about this so much in terms of all the different managers. Frank is a good manager, in my opinion, but he's not the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur. Emery is a very unbelievable manager, but I don't think he's the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur. Sometimes, you know, you can be not as good as a manager, but you could be a better fit for the football club. And I think that goes in. I think Emery and Pochettino are big examples of that.
I don't see the massive issue with Emery. And I'm for one, understand why he hasn't worked at a big club, because I don't think when he gets to when he has to be a dominant team in the league, I think he can sometimes struggle with that. But I don't think he's a manager who doesn't play good football, like in at times. Yes, he's very adaptable and he's very tactical for sure. He's not majorly philosophical in that sense. He's very much can adapt to the opposition. But I think some of the football Villa plays sharp, it's incisive, and it's fun to watch at times. They score some great goals. Obviously, you need the quality to do that. But I think I don't see why it would be an unpopular appointment.
Well, first of all, he's a failed Arsenal manager. So that's one thing.
That's true.
And second of all, I just don't think that's the football Spurs fans want to see. I do think, you know, I said I want to see Frank, and me personally, I just want to see effective football, and Emery does play effective football. But yeah, there's just something about it. I don't think it's the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur. And you know, you're looking at this season with Aston Villa, they're doing unbelievably well, but they're very much relying on individual brilliance. Like,
true.
If he came to Spurs, he doesn't have that.
Those are all fair comments. I don't think his football's that bad. Actually, it is quite attacking at times as well. Definitely different to Frank. And he's obviously shown he can get in the Champions League if he does get it this season on multiple occasions. He's got unbelievable record in cup competitions. I wouldn't be surprised if he won us a cup if he was our manager, to be honest, because he's so good in those cup competitions.
I mean, we said that about Mourinho and Conte.
Yeah, that's also true. If they can't win a cup with us, who can?
Apparently.
Almost everything is a lie. What a name. Says, Robertson saw how shit we are with Frank and said no thanks. Is that a lie? Almost everything is a lie, he says.
That is definitely a lie. Yeah, I think it is a lie. I think the Robertson situation is just trying to help Liverpool out. I think that's all it is. I think he knows it's a great opportunity for him to get another payday. You know, he's not getting at Liverpool. They're not giving him another contract. We're willing to give him 2.5-year contract on big money and to stay in the Premier League. I think it's a great opportunity for Robertson. Never mind the sporting decision.
Yeah, I think so. But it looks like he's going to be staying there for 6 months anyway. I don't think it's to do with Frank. I think it's to do with the situation. I think as well, it's a good opportunity for him to have one more payday at top 6 club, isn't it? Or I don't know if we can call us top 6 anymore. But anyway, fan Chelsea Ange. So it's a Chelsea fan of Ange. Thomas Frank has not been sacked because Tottenham's board is prioritising reputation, contractual risk, financial exposure and optics over football performance, league safety and tactical reality. Spurs are being slowly walked into danger because the people in charge are afraid to admit they made the wrong call. And the league table does not forgive boredom, cowardice. Relegation does not come from chaos, it comes from denial.
I would actually say that they can't be prioritising optics because it's optically bad seeing Spurs in the moment that we are and sleepwalking to relegation right now. Like, how is that good on the optics?
Because it's not good on the optics, but is it worse on the optics to sack a manager after 6 months when you've put so much stock on him, you've made him the third highest paid manager in the league, and
it's worse to carry on.
And then it carries on the whole hiring, firing kind of
Doesn't matter.
nature. So I'm just saying that that's optically also bad. It's not good.
It's worse now. It's worse to keep him, in my opinion, optically. Much worse, because we're just going further and further down the league. And if that something's not working, and so obviously not working, you've got to make a change.
I agree with that. I'm just saying.
But I think everyone.
Optically,
there's a general.
losses
I think there's a general acceptance everywhere, apart from inside the boardroom, that a change needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying optically as well. They're admitting a massive mistake they made with Thomas Frank. So that's also not good for optics. And if they keep him, it's almost as like...
But it's irrelevant.
I agree, but it's almost from their point of view, it's almost like, okay, we're giving the manager time, we're allowing him time to work things out, we're backing the guy that we've given, like all of a sudden they're kind of optically... They want to be seen as the good owners who are giving their manager time, who are not hiring and firing and backing a project and thinking of the long term, put it that way.
Actually, it makes them look incompetent. That's what it makes them look.
Mm-hmm. I think that. I'm just saying.
Everyone thinks that. Literally everyone. So when it's on optics, I get what you're saying, and that's what maybe they're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so kind of... They just don't have their finger on the pulse, do they? And they don't see what's right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't see what everyone sees right now, which is they just look incompetent.
Yeah, I agree. Steve Turner says the delusion of Sim is immense.
Agreed.
Who is worth 50 million? Van der Ven and Romero, and that's it.
There's a difference between being worth 50 million and actually being able to sell someone for 50 million, though. That's two different things, I think. And yeah, who would we able to actually sell for 50 million in the squad apart from Romero and Van der Ven? Maybe Bergvall. Yeah, I don't think we'd sell Porro for 50 million.
I think we would. If that was our hardline price. We signed him for 45. I don't think his value's dropped.
Maybe, but that's on the cusp.
It's a hard one as well, because it kind of depends on so many factors. Like at the end of last season, Bergvall's a shoo-in for 50 million or more. Now all of a sudden, not sure. Like Xavi, we were delighted.
Xavi's one.
We signed for 50 million. Kudus as well. We thought they were good prices, and all of a sudden now people are thinking. Obviously, Kulusevski, definitely a 50 million pound player, but he's got this massive knee injury. I think a Doggy, if he stays fit for one season, he's easily a 50 million pound player, but he can't stay fit at the moment. Maddison, again, easily a 50 million pound player, but another player who's played with injury, and obviously he's getting nearer to 30 now. But as a quality, he's easily 50 million. Obviously, we signed Solanke for 65. What if after Bournemouth? It's not. I thought we overpaid, but again, if he has a good end to the season and starts scoring goals again, that's a 50 million pound player.
Nobody's playing 50 million for Solanke.
Not right now, but as I just said, if he...
Nah, even that.
I disagree.
Now, who's going to pay 50 million for Solanke?
I don't know about who, but I'm saying he's a 50 million pound player.
I don't think so.
I think if he with what he offers off the ball, if he starts scoring goals, then he's a 50 million pound player, easy.
No, I disagree. And that's a lot of ifs and buts, isn't it? Like,
not that many.
We're talking about 50 million pound players here and now. Like, Maddison isn't one anymore. He's got the talent to be, but he's not one. Kulusevski as well. Like, Kulusevski, he has the talent to be, but he hasn't proven that he can be a 50 million pound player because he's never been consistent over the course of a whole season. Not once. So...
if he didn't have that knee injury, you would easily be demanding at least 50 million.
We would be demanding it, but we wouldn't get it.
But that'll be the price. I think you would get it.
I don't think so.
I think you would get it. I think you would get it for sure.
He needs to show consistency. He's never shown it.
I think someone bids 50 million for Kulusevski for sure.
Like who? What kind of club bid 50 million?
Good club, big club.
What, you think one of the top 6 in the Premier League? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think he gets into any of their teams.
It's a squad game now.
Yeah, I agree. But I still don't think...
And 50 million is a squad... Look at Arsenal, full of 50 million pound players.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Madueke went for 50 million or whatever it was. Like, Kulusevski easily is 50 million.
Madueke, that was just crazy. He went for 50 million. He's nowhere near a 50 million pound player. And Kulusevski shouldn't go for 50 million either.
But I think he would.
I don't know. With his injury record and with his consistency.
Now, as I said, now with his knee
But he's
injury.
always had the injury. He's always been in and out of injury.
Has he?
Yeah, since his coming here, he's had quite a few injuries, hasn't he?
I don't think his injury record's been that bad, is it?
I mean, everyone's injury record at Spurs is, and especially Maddison as well. Like, how can anyone pay 50 million for him?
No, I agree with. That's why I laid out those reasons. But anyway, my point being, it's more than Romero and Van der Ven anyway.
Yeah, I would say about 5 players.
According to Transfer Market, 4 players are worth over 50 million. That's Kudus, Simmons, Romero, Van der Ven.
Yeah. What's Decky? 45.
Decky's 45. Poro's 40.
No, Vuskovic is 40.
Doggy's 40. Vuskovic, yeah. Bergval's 40. But usually, how the rule of thumb for a transfer market value is usually that plus 50%. That's usually what you demand. That's like the opening thing. So, I mean, but based on that, a number of these players would be demanding.
Well, if that's the case, then Brennan Johnson was over a £50 million player.
Yeah. I think
Brennan Johnson's transfer market when he left us was 35 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a £50 million player.
I thought Palace got a good deal there.
I think it was market value. I think we got what the player is worth.
Correct, but usually you get a bit more than what the player's worth. That's usually how it works. Anyway, according to Transfer Market, we have the 5th most valuable squad in the Premier League when it comes to how much the players are worth.
That's interesting. Because we've got a lot of young players, don't we, with a lot of potential, which we valued high. Man, like Man United with the Mbuemos and the Cunhas, I guess. What's the difference between Man U and Spurs' squads?
150 million.
Wow, that's quite big. 150 million. Who's Man United's? Go on to their team.
So Mbuemo 75, Cunha 70, Sesko 60, Euro, Diallo. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 50 or more. Then it's a drop off. Bruno 40, Delight 40, Lissandro 35, Mount 32. But they've got quite a few older players which are just not, because they're a bit older, like Shaw 10, Maguire 10, Mazraoui a bit less, 22.
Yeah. We've barely got any players over 30. We've got 2 or 3, don't we? Davis, Maddison. Anyone else? Is that it?
Yeah.
So that's probably what
but
comes into it. Yeah, Paulini is not valued though, because he's not our player.
Though. Yeah. Anyway, but I think that is interesting. Like when people talk about our squad, it's apparently the 5th most valuable in the league. Like, are you saying the 5th most valuable squad should be?
Yeah, but it's also because we've overpaid on some of these players, so they hold that kind of value.
I don't know how much that goes into the calculation. Obviously, it goes into it because you have a starting point. But
because if you buy
Solanke, we signed him for 65. He's dropped to 35.
Yeah, click into Solanke. What's the history? See, he had a peak there last season of what?
45.
Yeah, so he's gone down 10 million. But I guess that's because of the injury.
But we signed him, hasn't really changed much. When we signed him at 35.
So he's back to what?
40, sorry. We signed him at 40.
We overpaid for Sankalin, man.
We signed him at 40. His value. Anyway, that was my general point, is that about the players. A lot of them go for quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Dionysus says, the club was handed to Frank on a plate. Trophy in the cabinet, new players, good players, a Super Cup, Champions League, clean slate, no baggage. Also, a 17th place finish meant the only way was up. What you got is the most lily-livered, negative pragmatist who only dares not to lose, and by doing so brings it on himself and the team. Stay with Frank and Spurs will be relegated.
Yeah, look, I don't actually think we're going to go down, but stay with Frank will be in a relegation battle. I do believe that, the way we're going right now.
He had Tottenham handed on him on a plate.
What does that even mean?
In terms of there was so much potential, he's saying he's essentially saying there was a real opportunity at the start of the season.
Opportunity to what, though?
He says trophy in the cabinet, new players, good players, Super Cup, Champions League,
but
and a
what's
clean
the
slate. No
opportunity
baggage.
to do what?
To impress, to like build on something, do something good.
I think that I don't know, man. I think
Also,
he could
17th
do.
only way it was up. There's all like set up for like him to be shown.
Yeah,
to be the
look,
manager.
it is true. It is true. I do think that the Europa League win did paper over some cracks in the squad, which we didn't address in the summer. We did bring in some decent players, don't get me wrong, but we all predicted 5th last season, and that was probably, you know, off the highs of the Europa League. We maybe thought we were a bit better than we were in the summer. I don't know what his ceiling could have been this season if he actually performed well. I think he needed to have a massive overperformance to finish 5th. Probably where we're at is probably around, 6th, 7th, something like that.
Between 6th and 8th.
Yeah.
I think that's the battle we should be fighting for.
So, like, if we did finish 6th, 7th or 8th, I don't think we'd be sitting here being like, oh, man, what a season we've had. Thomas Frank has been doing so well.
With a cup run.
Yeah. But even so, like, without winning a cup, let's say not winning a cup, just a bit of a cup run, I don't think Spurs fans would have been too happy with that at the end of the season.
I think they would have been content with it. Not over the hills, but I don't think they'll be shouting Frank out or anything.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, okay, it's improvement. We got back in the European conversations. Like, that's fine. It's not like I wouldn't be sitting here jumping for joy, but I'd be like, okay, that's improvement, and he's earned another season.
Yeah, true.
And maybe there's something to believe in. And that should have been something that he's capable of doing, as he's saying. But I don't know about handed the club on a player. I don't know about that. But
I don't think he's
agree.
inherited the greatest situation. That's the reality.
But I think he has inherited a situation what was so easy to improve on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like there was so many. It couldn't have got worse in terms of league position in 17th. Like, in terms of that, it was like such an easy win in terms of the only way was up from that point of view. And I think it's been a high level of incompetence to get us in this situation. We're back here again.
Yeah, it's true. I can't disagree with that. However, I think we'll finish above 17th this season. I'm just not sure it'll be that many places above 17th.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that we will, but at the moment we're...
Listen to us, man. I'm hopeful we'll finish above 17th. Like, can you imagine? A few years ago we were talking like this, man.
I know. It's crazy.
You know, a lot of people used to say that, you know, after Kane and Son, like, we are just a relegation battling team. And I always used to laugh at these people. Like, there is no chance Spurs are ever going to be in a relegation battle, finish 17th, 16th and all that.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Fan Chelsea Vange again. He says, as an Ange supporter and a Chelsea fan... Sorry. As an Ange supporter and a Chelsea fan with a genuine soft spot for Spurs, that is exactly...
Oh, just get him off.
That is exactly why this situation hurts to watch. Tottenham had a coach who built an identity, belief, attacking football. He was judged on a freak injury season and removed just as the rebuilding was taking shape. What has followed under Frank is not a reset, but a collapse in structure, confidence and direction. Fans are not being emotional. They are responding to what their eyes see every week. When a club loses its footballing identity and slides towards the bottom of the table, or worse, supporter pressure becomes a rational warning signal, not noise. Spurs are not protesting change. They are protesting the loss of ambition and clarity that Ange gave them.
He lost me at Chelsea supporting Ange fan that
okay,
has a
but
soft spot for Spurs.
take the Ange stuff. If you take the Ange stuff out of it, he says
Can't take it out.
I'm just saying, if you do,
But I can't.
why not?
Ange supporter and Chelsea fan with a soft spot for Spurs. What what is that?
That's what he is. He's got that's some people are like that, I guess. But he says under Frank, it's been a collapse in structure, confidence, and direction.
Completely. I mean, we didn't have much of a direction last season. Let's be honest. We won the Europa League, which was great, but the direction, we finished 17th. We lost 22 games last season, so I don't think we had much of a direction. It's been it's just been shocking from start to finish this season. We always hoped there would be some sort of sense of direction after winning the Europa League and collapsing in the league, and he hasn't been able to get us back on track. That's the reality.
Well, I guess the argument would be we had Poch and we had a direction, we had an identity and whatever. We then completely...
That's the last time we've had a direction.
No, I understand that, but then it was literally, how long was it between Ange and Poch and Ange? It was 4 years? 2019 and Ange was appointed 2023. So 4 years, we obviously went with all these different managers who don't really have set identities. In that sense, they're very, they adapt to opposition kind of managers. Or I guess Conte did actually, but more Mourinho is not really an identity kind of manager. He's very much focused on opposition and wherever. We lost our way for many years. Then obviously appointing Ange was supposed to be a direction back to having an identity closer to what the club has, and so that's what he's trying to say. That was like on that the direction of identity was that kind of football. Forget it's a manager, but that's the direction we were trying to go in. Back, Levy saying we want our Tottenham back, all this kind of stuff, and then we've then got rid of that kind of football again for another kind of directionless, identityless manager. And I guess that's what the argument he's trying to say. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what happens at this football club. We flip and flop to this one, to that one, different styles of play. Players have been brought in for all these different managers, and we've just got a whole concoction of bloody different players that have brought in for all these different styles of play, which is culminated in an absolute mishmash of a squad. And when you're chopping and changing managers from philosophy to philosophy, it's never going to work. So the club has been aimless ever since sacking Pochettino. That's the reality, and we need to get back on track, and Frank's not that right guy to do it.
G. Van Kumar says, even if £1 billion is injected into this squad in the next 3 years, with this manager at the helm, at most he would turn into a B-Tech Arteta.
He's already a B-Tech Arteta.
He don't have the extra optimism which is required to punch above the weight. He is a complete pessimist which won't push the squad when they have to win when it matters. Just cut the losses.
Yeah, completely agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think whilst we're on this same path, playing this kind of football, getting the results that we're getting, we could have £5 billion in the coffers, and it still won't get that much better. We might, raise the level a little bit, but it won't be enough to get to where the Spurs fans want to get to. So we do need to cut our losses. We need to do it quick. We need to get in a manager that people can believe in, that will earn the trust of the squad, and only then can we start to see it getting a little bit better.
I agree, and this is my point with Fanga. This is in terms of like when we see him at his very best and what he's trying to do. That I don't even want that here. Like, so what exactly are we hoping he turns it around for? If you know what I mean, for something that I don't want or that we're not going to really be happy with.
The thing is, if he could turn it around and get better players in and play his style of football, we get consistent results. I would accept that. I would accept if we were winning games of football regularly. Playing in a crap way, but winning. I like I said all along, like I want to see effective football first and foremost at this football club, over style. But it's not effective football and it's crap style, and that's two things that can't mix together.
Collins Illis says, I've got to give up everything Spurs, as it's triggering my mental health again, and I don't enjoy watching Spurs games anymore.
Yeah, try talking about it day in, day out, in WhatsApp groups before we get here and WhatsApp groups after we leave here, with other people as well. It's just like literally non-stop.
Yeah, everyone's mental health is being affected alone by Tottenham, and it's just the same thing every game, and like we're just losing games and dropping points and playing awful football, and we've got a manager no one wants, and there's no end in sight. We just need to change just for a little bit of hope again, I feel. At the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Just get some hope back.
Just feels like there's just no hope in sight. And the problem is, it's just not even like Thomas Frank. It's what comes after Thomas Frank as well. There's just no hope.
Who knows? New manager could get some more out of these players.
I genuinely believe it feels like we're back in the 90s, just an endless, vicious cycle of crap. And you look down the road and they're fighting for league titles every year. They're one of the favourites to win the Champions League. And it's just like, What is the point?
I think a few smart decisions, a few good decisions, and we're not far away from being back.
But that's always the case with Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always a few decisions and a few smart decisions, and those smart decisions never come.
In the 90s, it's a different kettle of fish. We were so far off. We had a middle of the range, like aging squad all the time, signing players always in their 30s, and didn't have that much money. Like we're a different club now.
Well, we had a fair amount of money under Alan Sugar, I'll tell you that. But in terms of, yeah, fine, that may be a bit different. But since Martin Yole, up until the very day, we've always just been a few smart decisions away from being very good.
No, but we were good at points. We're not good now. I'm saying we're only a few smart decisions away from being good again, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. That is all the comments that we are reacting to today. Keep them rolling in and we'll keep reacting to them. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on Spurs.